Now for Global Business Updates, Rotus Oddiri joins us. And Rotus is going to tell us about his own life-saving pots of soup.
Yeah, so, no, I'm from Delta now, so ogbono soup is number one. You can't even
stand soup, Mama Kuku.
My man.
Ogbono.
You already know. Rufai is a worry man. Dr. Vasi, good morning. Vimbai, good morning. Rufai, good morning. Ogbono. And then Afang number two. Afang is, oh my goodness. Afang soup
maybe we'll give you a wife from
Calabar, from Cross River.
Yes, don't worry.
I'll take it. But she has to have a job and making money. Let's start. I can't pay for everything. Let's start with, no, I cannot. Let's start with Trump, who has given us one tariff update. Dr. Vasi, you're laughing. You don't know, your own wife is a stellar finance woman. All right, continue. No one. Latest on Trump tariffs. Swiss president, did you know the president of Switzerland flew to, unannounced, without any pre-announced meeting, she flew to Washington. I think she's in Washington now, but she's meeting with Marco Rubio, not President Trump. So Japan is pursuing a court in auto trials. Trump says that pharmaceuticals and chips will be announced up to next week. And he's saying pharmaceutical tariffs could be as high as 250%. Meanwhile, the countries like the EU that already have a 15% tariff, they export, I think the most of their pharmaceutical imports come from the EU. So how does that work out? Then the Russia deadline is on the 8th, and then it says it's close to a China truce extension. Meanwhile, he was talking about filling the Fed role. He says that Scott Bessent has declined the job. He was on the phone. He called into one of the TV stations yesterday. I had a very long conversation about a number of things, but here's the excerpt where he talked about Bessent declining the Fed job.
I love Scott, but he wants to stay where he is. I'll take him off because I asked him just last night, is this something you want? Nope, I want to stay where I am. He actually said, I want to work with you. It's such an honor. I said, that's very nice. I appreciate that. But no, Scott wants to do what he's doing. He's doing a great job. And he wants to do what he's doing. So I just take him off. He does not want it. He likes being Treasury Secretary. He's doing a really good job.
True. All right. Moving to the UK, Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer, they've got some real challenges. The NEISR, National Institute for Economic and Social Research, put out its outlook on the global and UK economy, saying that she's got, I don't know if you remember the economic trilemma, the famous economic trilemma. They took inspired by that. They have to meet their fiscal rules where they want to match every pound sterling of spending with taxes, trying to fulfill their spending commitments, and also upholding that pledge not to raise it. You can't get all three. So she's in a very, very, very tough spot right now. Their outlook for the economy, I mean, they're saying growth is going to remain tepid. I think it's 1.2% growth for 1.3 for this year, 1.2 for 2026. They say the government is on track to miss its stability rule. And they're looking at a £40.1 billion deficit, I think, by fiscal year 2029. Inflation, I think we get the Bank of England decision tomorrow. They're expecting that they will probably have to cut rates or maybe hold. I mean, they're seeing... No, actually, they said they're going to ease, which is interesting. They said the Bank of England is likely to ease rates, I think because of tariff pressures. They said that the tariffs from Trump will cause a loss of about 0.1% or so to GDP growth. And they said the living standards of the poorest 10% continue to fall. This is the quote from the Deputy Director of Macroeconomics at the Institute's NISR, Professor Stephen Mann, said, with growth at only 1.3% and inflation above targets, which is 2% target, things are not looking good for the Chancellor, who will need to either raise taxes, which is promised, further than where we are now, or reduce spending, or both. Remember, in October budget, remember they tried to cut the winter subsidies. Her own people in her own party revolted against her. So it's a really tough, this governance thing is not easy. Anyway, to Nigeria, the Bureau of Statistics, I think it's on the front page of this day newspaper, Nigeria's newspaper of record. Capital importation rose 67% year on year in the first quarter, came in at 5.6 billion. So 67% year on year, 10% quarter on quarter compared to quarter 4 of 2024. Mostly, I know Rufai likes talking about this a lot, portfolio investments is what was made the bulk of it, has been the usual trend. 5.2 billion of that made up 92% of the total amount. FDI, unfortunately, still very paltry, only $126 million came in, only 2% of the total. The banking sector took in about 3 billion. When you look at the states, I have to go back and look for that. Okay, sorry, the banks, before I get to the states. Capital imposition by banks, the receiving banks, Standard Chartered, 2.1 billion, Stanbic IBTC, 1.3, Citibank, about 8 billion naira. And then with respect to the states that took this in, Lagos was toppled by Abuja. Abuja bringing in by 54% of the total amount. Lagos in second place, Ogun State, and then Oyo and Kaduna. Outside of these top 5, no other states getting any capital importation, and that is something that our governors, if you're not in this top 5, you've got to work on. Lagos and Abuja have continued to dominate this. And then finally, earnings. Aradel Holdings PLC, which is an indigenous energy company, releasing its half-year performance. Revenue coming in at 368 billion, about 36% of that was crude oil exports. I think crude oil came to about 220 billion or so. And then also contributions from their associate companies, part of their portfolio companies. Cost of sales did rise by more than revenues, and you can see cost of sales there rising by 91%. That means their gross profit was only about a percentage higher than prior years. Their general and admin expenses saw a big jump, about 184% to 53 billion. It was 18 billion in the prior year, which means their operating profit fell by about 21% to 118 billion. But their finance income almost doubled from 6 billion to 12. Finance expenses went from 7 to 11. So they're still able to, to bring about a profit of about 146, as well as, again, contributing from their portfolio companies as well. So again, that's still part of the testament to where we are generally going in terms of oil exports, increasing our rigs, and so on and so forth. So that's our updates for today.
I don't blame the Swiss president for jumping in on Trump, because with Trump, there are no protocols.
He likes when people beg him though. So, he's
I mean, what do you expect? I mean, that's the kind of person he's always been. A man that calls into a TV show and still yaps the TV stations and all. I mean, that's the kind of person he is. But all of this is reflective of the American economy. And that's what we keep talking about. The world at a point in time like this needs stability. The growth America saw post-COVID was because of the cool head of Joe Biden. And it reflected. So I will keep seeing how this tackle thing continues to some certain extent. As regards Keir Starmer, in fact, I was just trying to check the data again. I am not surprised. I said it here. You remember?
But it's a tough decision
no,
now.
Wait, you see, this also extends to Nigeria.
Yeah.
All this one, APC, PDP, ADC are fighting each other, Labour. See, next thing, all I just want is we need a debate among the candidates where we can see empirical. It's not the one that some candidates will not attend though, and they will give you all sorts of reasons. So they say they want to lead that, because see, debate prevents you from all sorts of these things. When we watch the Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak debate, I said it here that Rishi Sunak had the best arguments. Starmer did not talk about how he was going to fix the black hole. Today, the black hole has come again. He lied then. I'm not going to raise taxes because you want votes. Today, you want to raise taxes. So, look at
I believe our time is up. Yeah, thank you so much.
Time is up.